Attention air travelers. Before you book your next flight, be sure you don't get stuck in the worst seat on the plane. I'll give you a hint. It's near the back. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with a tip from seasoned travelers after this.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
If you've flown lately, you know the skies can be far from friendly. There's baggage fees, jammed overhead bins, and shrinking legroom. And of course, choosing the right seat is always a challenge. But a survey of 1,000 flyers by Skyscanner, a flight comparison website, finds one seat is the absolute worst, 31E. It's a middle seat in the back, near the toilets. Of course, where there's a loser, there must be a winner, and that award goes to seat 6A. Why? Seasoned air travelers know the first few rows get to deplane first. Plus, 6A comes with a very nice window. Happy flying! I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine. Once upon a time, your printer was not a privacy risk, but today's printers are often connected to Wi-Fi networks, making them a treasure trove for hackers. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back with details on the potential spy in your office, next.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Hacking somebody through their printer sounds like an urban legend, but now that printers have hard drives, email capacity, and are connected to the internet, they've become attractive to attackers. Here's an example. Samsung printers sold up until October 2012 had a security flaw that lets hackers send fake faxes, copy sensitive documents, and spy on you or your company by eavesdropping on your Wi-Fi traffic. Yikes! Your best defense is to change the default password, add antivirus and malware protection, and get that printer behind a firewall. If you don't, you could be the next victim. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
My remedy today came in a box, just like they say. I accepted it.
Okay, we are back. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio, and we're talking to Jan in Austin. And Jan, I was talking to Don on the break and told him that you may well be the reason that he was here today. Everything has its reasons, and it kind of, I'm enthusiastic about it because I am very well aware of how we take problems that we have experienced all of our lives, and they've gave us major grief, and they can be changed in seconds with someone who knows what they're doing. And Don is one of those folks. Okay, Don, you were talking about this survivor.
I was going to give her the other two pieces to check out. So the other two things, Jan, and this is for you just to do your research and see what resonates with you. You know, do an internet search for EFT for trauma.
Okay.
And then another thing you can look up is matrix reimprinting. So those are two things that would work really well for your situation. So do a little research, get one of those videos, and then if it resonates with you, there's a survey on my website. You can fill it out, send it to me, and then I'll schedule an appointment with you either by phone or on Skype. And you'll be amazed I think what can happen in 90 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
But, look at some of the testimony. Those are all real people. Those videos and audios and written testimony, real people, real problems, real results. I mean, I prefer to under-promise and over-deliver. A lot of times people think I'm a little too low-key or flatline, but, I'm just not about promotion and razzle-dazzle. I'm just about getting results with people as effectively and quickly as possible and giving them tools that they can use for themselves.
Yes, and let me offer a little encouragement. I've, for a long time, used a tool I've talked about here on the show called the rubber ball theory. And it's a tool I use to interrupt patterns from other people.
Rubber ball?
And I call it the rubber ball theory. We'll talk about that another time. But in using it, I started out with all of those people I considered my petty tyrants.
Yes.
Those people who drove me crazy, who could always poke my buttons and get me to dance for them. And it turned out those people with the most entrenched and most outrageous behaviors were the easiest ones to fix. Yeah, it's because it stands out so much.
And it does.
That it's easy. All you have to do is get your attention. Like when you have one of these anxiety attacks, you might ask yourself, what is this experience I'm having trying to tell me? One of the metaphors I use for that is, we have this inner mind that handles all the things that we know. But it doesn't talk to us.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't speak at all. It communicates with us all the time. But it doesn't speak English. It doesn't speak. It communicates us with feelings.
Yeah, it's symbolic and internal, right.
Well, when you have a feeling like this feeling of helplessness, you might just say, okay, hang on. What are you trying to tell me? And then just sit and be still and listen. It will formulate. You'll get something in your mind that says, this is what I'm doing. Now, you're having this response for some reason. It's probably an old, archaic reason that's not valid anymore, and you're having these same automatic internal responses. If you want to know what the response is about, ask. And then listen.
Well, now I know where it came from. I know those experiences. I don't recount them to anyone because I lose my speech if I start to go there. But
so wait. You're saying this was one of those one-time learning experiences?
Not one time. It was repetitive. Excessive and abusive litigation. You might appreciate that. Criminal behavior on the behalf of people in the system, modifying things in my presence, writing it out, and while I was there in the room, and instead of yelling where I should have done, I froze and almost threw up. But
no, wait, something else is going on. This is not from litigation. Something else is going on. We can have 1,000 people have the exact same experiences.
Yeah.
And they're not going to freeze up.
Well, there are some 30-odd times that I encountered the system where there was that kind of...
something else is going on.
The system.
Ask. You've already consciously decided what's going on. Your conscious mind doesn't know squat. You are a rational human being, and you have these experiences, and you use your rational mind to do what it does best. You rationalize.
Word for it. I'll look further. I know the outward occasions where it hit and I froze, but I guess you're right. There may have been something behind it.
There's something else going on, I assure you. And if you ask yourself, if you put away all of your preconceived notions and accept, I don't know what the heck is going on here, ask yourself, it'll tell you. And go to those websites, find good information. There's a tool you're missing.
Yeah.
And in that information, you will find a tool.
Randy, may I add one thing here?
Appreciate that. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, one question I would ask if I were working with Jan is I'd say, Jan, when is the earliest time you can ever remember having this experience?
To tell the truth, it was about 12 years ago.
Okay, well, see, and then, that might be the first time, or there might be an earlier time, but what I would do is it might have been something that happened in school or when you were a kid, but, it doesn't really matter if you find the absolute earliest time, or you just go to the earliest time you can remember, and then we start tuning in on that, using EFT, matrix reimprinting, whatever I feel is appropriate. I just kind of go with the flow. And if there is an earlier time, it'll come to you. And so what we do, I can guarantee you what Randy's talking about is that this situation you had in court was just a symptom of something deeper that got triggered there. Okay? So once you get to the real core of it and you heal and clear that, then it collapses everything going forward. And like he said, I won't say seconds, but, you can get results with this kind of work in 90 minutes that you might not get in weeks or months or years of traditional talk therapy or medications or other stuff. So, I would encourage you to explore the information I gave you. If you feel, if it resonates with you, I'll schedule a session and we'll see what happens.
All right. Absolutely. That sounds exciting, actually.
Okay. Thank you very much. We need to move on. We've had folks hanging on for quite a while. Yes. Thank you, Jan. And keep in touch. Let us know how it goes.
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. Now we're gonna go to Kay in New Mexico.
Hey, Randy.
Hello, Miss Kay. How is your little thing going in the municipal courts there in New Mexico?
Well, last time I talked to you, I said the plot thickened, and now I'm needing my hip boots and a big shovel to wade through it. I went to court this past Tuesday. It was my non-jury trial, which we filed an objection to. And I get in there, and the magistrate, Rob tried to come in there with me into the little, where you sit down and play like you're at court. And the judge goes, "What are you doing?" And he was like, I'm offering counsel. He's like, "Are you a licensed attorney?" He said, "No, Your Honor, I'm not." He's like, "Well, you need to get out of here." And Rob says, "Is it this court's intention to violate my rights in the state and laws in the state of New Mexico?" And he's like, "Do you want to get arrested?" And I look at Rob. I'm like, "Don't you dare get arrested today." And he said, "Well, no, Your Honor, I don't." And he said, "Well, you shut up and you sit down out there." And
did he deny him access to the court?
Yes, he did.
Did he ask the bailiff to arrest the judge?
No, he did not.
Okay. I have great fun with that.
Yeah.
Once you ask the bailiff to arrest the judge, it changes the whole dynamic.
Right. Well, I was not prepared for this guy to be such a jerk. And that's the nicest word I can use on the radio right now. But anyway, he had the documents that we filed. We filed a special appearance motion to dismiss. We filed not engaged in commerce or transportation, like an addendum to the affidavit that I had already previously filed. We filed an objection to a non-jury trial. We filed an objection to use of citation as a complaint, and we filed my judicial notice of pro se status. So, he's kind of silent, looking through the paperwork, and goes, "All right, so what's in your motion? Your motion to dismiss?" And I was like, "Well, Your Honor, I move that all proceedings be on the record." and I'm here today by special appearance to address the motion I have pending. He's like, all right, well, what's in it? And I started going into the first section, which is not in transportation. And before I could quote the motor vehicle code of New Mexico, he said, motion denied. Did not even let me get into my motion.
Did he read it?
I don't think he did. I think he
this is good. Yeah. Okay, understand. Everything in the trial court is about setting the record for appeal.
Right.
I would charge, if you maintain that the judge lacks subject matter jurisdiction, that means he wasn't a judge.
Right.
He was impersonating a judge.
Well, I tried to get to that, and he talked right over me. And I was like, well, Your Honor, I don't see where this court has the jurisdiction to pursue this. And he, I can't exactly remember what he said. And he was just, I mean, he threw me off, really.
That's his whole point. Bar grievance, judicial conduct complaint against him for his rude behavior. Check to see if he has a bar card. I guarantee you he does. File a bar grievance against him. And then file criminal charges with the grand jury. When we come back, we'll talk about running the routine on the judge. This is Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. Our call-in number, 512-646-1984. We'll be right back.
Thought that I was doing well, but the truth to you I'll tell. MSGs and GMO really ain't the way to go. There's a better way I've seen. It's called tangy tangerine, and we're all drinking tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine. We're all drinking tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine, tangy tangerine.
Order Beyond Tangy Tangerine and other great longevity products at LogosRadioNetwork.com by clicking on the Tangy Tangerine banner. Sign up as a preferred customer for wholesale prices or become a distributor and support LogosRadioNetwork.com. So what do you say, Elvis?
Thank you very much.
Are you being harassed by debt collectors with phone calls, letters, or even lawsuits? Stop debt collectors now with the Michael Mirris Proven Method. Michael Mirris has won 6 cases in federal court against debt collectors, and now you can win too. You'll get step-by-step instructions in plain English on how to win in court using federal civil rights statutes, what to do when contacted by phone, mail, or court summons, how to answer letters and phone calls, how to get debt collectors out of your credit report, how to turn the financial tables on them and make them pay you to go away. The Michael Mirris Proven Method is the solution for how to stop debt collectors. Personal consultation is available as well. For more information, please visit ruleoflawradio.com and click on the blue Michael Mirris banner or email michaelmirris@yahoo.com. That's ruleoflawradio.com or email michaelmirras@yahoo.com to learn how to stop debt collectors now.
You are listening to the Logos Radio Network. LogosRadioNetwork.com.
Well, don't let nothing get to you. Only the Father can deliver you. So don't let bad mind people hurt you. Until Satan get behind you. Know what I mean? My friend. And all of your children. Come. Those things that hurt me free. Tell him your problem, babe. Call on his name once again. Miracle, you know he will live. Trust in God, my friend.
Okay, we are back. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. And we're talking to Kay in New Mexico. And you sound like you're frustrated and angry at the judge.
Well, I I am. I'm shocked and appalled with his behavior, and I guess I shouldn't be because, you know.
Okay, I have one thing to say about that. Get over it.
Yeah,
this is great fun. He gave you so many tools. You're going to have so much fun with him.
Well, and that's what Rob said, you know, when we left. He's like, you did great. And the biggie is, you know, we were 27 days past due the time it was legally okay for them to hold an arraignment. He proceeds with an arraignment right after he denies my motion to dismiss. And I said, Your Honor, how can we proceed with this? We are 27 days past, you know, the limit. Where is the legal authority to hold an arraignment? He turned red. He was so mad at me for even bringing that up. And he just blows through. He tries to get into the merits of the citation, which I absolutely refused to discuss. And I said, Your Honor, no, the only reason I'm here, I have no idea why I'm here today. The only reason I'm here is because if I fail to appear, then, you know, I'd have a warrant out for my arrest, and I'm not willing to do that. And, you know, I don't understand why I'm here, Your Honor. I don't understand how you can proceed with an arraignment when it's past time. And he blows me off, and he tries to get me to enter into a plea like twice. And I said, Your Honor, I cannot enter into a plea at this time. And he's like, well, I will enter a non-guilty plea for you. And so, I mean, it was kind of like, it was really frustrating, but it was kind of like, in my mind going, dance, monkey, dance, you know, because he was doing everything so wrong. And the beauty of it was the police officer acting as prosecutor just didn't say a word. I think he was just like, what the heck is going on here? And as we leave the courtroom, my husband said his parting shot was, well, we'll see you in federal court. And the magistrate calls him back in there. I mean, he is livid. Calls him, what did you say to me? And Rob goes up to him, and Rob's like, what? I can't hear you. He's kind of playing up his deafness a little bit. And, you know, Judge calls him right in front of the bench. Judge gets out of his seat and leans and gets in his face and is like, what did you say to me? He's like, what were you talking about? You know, just kind of stringing along, I guess. I mean, Rob knows how to play on people's emotions, and I'm sitting here going, please don't get arrested. You know, I don't want to deal with that right in just this second. Not prepared for that. And basically, you know, they hem and hawed for a minute, and Rob said, oh, yeah, federal court. I'll see you in federal court. And he goes, traffic don't have anything to do with federal court. And Rob said, but violation of due process rights do. And Rob was filling out judicial conduct complaints as the proceedings were going forward. So we've got a lot to do, but yes, I do. I am frustrated because I'm just, I don't know.
Okay. This is one of the things we try to help people get over. In civil society, we expect people to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. We expect people to be civil. But when you go into court, that's not civil society. Right. That's legal. And when you go into court, when you ask the judge to do something, you really don't want him to do what you ask him to do.
Okay.
Because we craft things to ask them to do that they are legally, statutorily required to do. And when they don't do them, we get to have so much fun. Then we get to come back and run the routine on them. When you go to the district attorney and ask the district attorney to present this magistrate, this local judge, to a grand jury for indictment, he's going to refuse. Wonderful. That's what you wanted him to do. Now you get to prepare a criminal charge against the prosecuting attorney and take it to the highest level judge you can find. I just sent a set of complaints to the Chief Justice Supreme Court, State of Texas. And He didn't do anything with them. So I came back to the district attorney and filed criminal charges against the Chief Justice for not taking my complaints. You get to take your little tar baby around and get everybody to touch it. The first one you started with, that chump municipal judge, he's sitting down there and he's got everybody mad at him. What did you do to this woman to get her so PO'd at us? You will never win your case because you have the law and the facts on your side. It is not that way now. It never has been that way for the last 6,000 years. Since since people moved into civilized societies. I was reading a book on Sumerian interpretations. They interpreted a plaque from a king 5,500 years ago who proclaimed he was reasserting the old law because those in positions of power and influence had so perverted the laws that the citizen could no longer achieve justice. If this has been going on for 5,500 years, don't expect it to change tomorrow. You'll expect the judge to be corrupt, but unlike 5,500 years ago, we got tools. So when they don't do what they're supposed to, then you create yourself a little politics. You won't win your case because you have the law and the facts on your side. You'll win your case if you have the politics on your side. And I suspect that by the time you get through kicking the district attorney, district judge, attorney general, chief justice of the Supreme, trying to get all of these guys in front of a grand jury because of that chump judge down there, you'll find that big fish eat little fish. And the big fish are going to feed you the little fish. And all of a sudden your traffic ticket will go away. It's just magic. And what I suggest you do with this judge, since you've challenged his subject matter jurisdiction, without subject matter jurisdiction, that's the only time you can sue a judge. Okay. He is impersonating a judicial officer. In Austin, we had a guy got sued over in the JP court over a credit card. We filed a challenge subject matter jurisdiction. They come into court, and the judge comes in the courtroom, and the guy says, "Your Honor, you can't be here." I'm sorry. He went on the motion to subject matter jurisdiction. The judge denied it. The next hearing they go into, and the judge came in. He said, "Your Honor, you can't be here. I sued you." He said, "What?" "Oh, yeah. You acted without subject matter jurisdiction." The client came to me and said, "What do I do?" I said, "Well, instead of filing an appeal to the denial of his challenge to subject matter jurisdiction, we charged him with impersonating a judicial officer and sued him." He got real excited. He got the county attorney to answer his suit. So he sued the county attorney. We sued the judge in his personal capacity for impersonating the judicial officer. And he got the county attorney to use public funds to defend him in a private case. So he sued the county attorney. This is the kind of thing you can do.
Right.
They're not used to the pro se from hell.
Yeah, one of the things he did, I explained, and he was like, "Do you want counsel?" I'm like, "Your Honor, I have counsel. Do you want an attorney?" I said, "No, Your Honor, I'm a pro se litigant. I don't need an attorney." And he has something where I'm supposed to file something in 10 days saying I have an attorney. And I'm like, I already have something before the court that says judicial notice of pro se status.
Okay, hang on. We're about to go to break. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. Our call-in number, 512-646-1984. We'll be right back.
This is Building 7, a 47-story skyscraper that fell on the afternoon of September 11th.
The government says that fire brought it down. However, 1,500 architects and engineers concluded it was a controlled demolition.
Over 6,000 of my fellow service members have given their lives.
Thousands of my fellow first responders are dying.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
I'm a structural engineer.
I'm a New York City correction officer.
I'm an Air Force pilot.
I'm a father who lost his son.
We're Americans, and we deserve the truth.
Go to rememberbuilding7.org today.
HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food has grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org and see what our powders, seeds, and oil can do for you.
It is so enlightening to listen to 90.1 FM, but finding things on the internet isn't so easy, and neither is finding like-minded people to share it with.
Oh, well, I guess you haven't heard of Brave New Books then.
Brave New Books?
Yes, Brave New Books has all the books and DVDs you're looking for by authors like Alex Jones, Ron Paul, and G. Edward Griffin. They even stock Interfood, Berkey products, and Calvin soaps.
There's no way a place like that exists.
Go check it out for yourself. It's downtown at 1904 Guadalupe Street, just south of UT.
By UT, there's never anywhere to park down there.
Actually, they now offer a free hour of parking for paying customers at the 500 MLK parking facility, just behind the bookstore.
It does exist, but when are they open?
Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 1 to 6 p.m. on Sundays. So give them a call at 512-480-2503 or check out their events page at bravenewbookstore.com.
Okay, we are back. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. And we're talking to Kay in New Mexico. Okay, Kay, what is your next step? Is your hubby still there? Let me bring him up.
Okay.
Rob?
Yeah.
Okay, just so you know. Okay, we're talking to Kay. You have to sit there and keep your mouth shut.
Okay, well, she already stole my thunder. I wanted to tell you about the stuff I did.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I wasn't sure if you could get in tonight, so I wanted to, link it all together. Our next step, they did set a jury trial, even though the clerk argued with us that something like 2 years ago they did away with jury trials for misdemeanors. And we're like, no, we've read the law as current as 2012, and I still have the right to a jury trial. I did not waive any of my rights. And so the judge smirked.
I would suggest you file a motion to disqualify the judge for committing criminal acts from the bench.
Okay.
To start with, that'll be great fun. That'll get him really unhappy. And file criminal charges against him. We start running the routine on him, and you might consider filing a civil action against the judge himself.
And the beauty of this, Randy, he's retiring in October.
Good. Check and see if he's a lawyer.
Okay.
If he has a bar card, then go to bargrievance.net and go through that list of things he can do wrong, and for everything he did wrong, file a separate bar grievance.
Okay.
He won't be able to get malpractice insurance. He may wish he hadn't retired.
Yeah, he was so, and you said I was frustrated. I am frustrated. I'm mad as hell. I'm so mad that this guy just I am. I kind of felt like the kid coming out of the principal's office, shaking, upset, full of anxiety, which is, I'm grateful for Don Milton earlier and what he had to say. And I'm definitely going to look into some of those things. But now, I've had time, it's stewed, and I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm ready to hammer this guy, just nail him to the wall for the things that he has done. And the fact that he's retiring in October, I want him on a platter. I'm so angry.
Good. They need, everybody has their own focus. And the biggest worry they have is every once in a while they run into the pro se from hell. If we can get 2 or 3 people in every county hammering these guys, a lot of this nonsense will stop. And hammering them unmercifully, and that's what he needs. No quarter, no mercy. When he retires, he'll have something to do, and that something to do will be fighting your lawsuit against him.
Yeah, well, we may not have the only lawsuit. I'm trying to get my friend to call in whose son has Down syndrome, and this magistrate has tried to throw a boy with Down syndrome in jail. So we're trying to get Christy, our friend, to, get on this wagon train of defending her son's rights, because all of his due process rights have been violated. So.
Good. And I suggest you might prepare a set of criminal complaints, especially the Down syndrome. That'll get more politics. It'll be a bigger political football. And send the complaint to the Chief Justice of the Supreme.
Okay.
And ask him to act in accordance with his duty as a magistrate. And when he doesn't, you go to the district attorney and file against the Chief Justice of the Supreme with the district attorney. You are the sovereign. You can do that. And once you do that, if anybody says anything to you that you can take in any way as threatening or intimidating, that's tampering with a witness, obstruction of justice, and you file it against the Chief Justice. You accuse him of sending them to do that. You talk about going ballistic, the Chief Justice will have a hernia. He will come down on these people and claw their eyes out.
Right.
Little local politics goes a long way. And especially if you put the Chief Justice in a position to where he can rail in righteous indignation. That'll get their attention, and the ticket will go away, but that's really nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
prepare and send a tort letter to the mayor.
Okay.
Wind him up a little more. Tell him that how distraught you were and how he's destroyed your faith in the American dream, and he's just subjected you to unbelievable anxiety. Oh, it's horrible. And
brilliant.
Make up an amount to sue the city for. Now, you don't care if you win that suit or not, or even if you ever file it. But just filing it is going to make the mayor really unhappy. And ask the mayor to fire the judge. And then when the mayor doesn't fire the judge, then you have a reason to believe that the mayor is acting in concert and collusion with the judge, because he hired a judge and he maintains him after he knows he's acting illegally. So let's make it hard for him. You're the only one who can do that. Only the sovereign citizen. The pro se from hell. Just the one thing you have to watch out for is don't have too much fun in the process.
Okay.
Okay, let me go to Rob now.
Okay.
He wanted to tell his side. Okay, Rob, tell your side.
Well, guess you got it all right. I got a question for you, clarification. This is a magistrate court, so it's a county magistrate. So would I go after the county commission rather than the mayor?
Exactly. I thought it was municipal. Yeah, you'd go after county commissioner's court. That's even better. They're the one that sets his budget.
Yeah, and they're the ones that just denied the expansion of the Single Action Shooting Society to be able to open up their facilities to all kinds of other activities, but they approved a truck stop coming into a little bitty town that already has 2 truck stops. So, yeah, I would love to hammer those guys. They're just rotten.
Good. Then file a good lawsuit with them, and when they hire a lawyer to respond to the lawsuit, what do you do to the lawyer?
I don't know, Randy. What do we do to lawyers?
You bargrave him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that one.
Oh, Bargrave, the judge, he's probably a lawyer.
Yeah, actually, I don't think this guy is, but I'm going to find out, and if he is, he'll get bar grievances along with the criminal complaint.
Okay, but make sure you do a judicial conduct complaint against him.
Oh yeah. I've already started writing a couple up. They're not done yet, but
and send him a tort letter. Accuse him of impersonating a judicial officer. Notify him that while acting without subject matter jurisdiction, he's subjected K to extreme emotional distress, and demand that he make her whole for a sizable sum of money or be sued. And he's going to say, they can't sue me. Yeah, we can.
Joe, when we were on our way out, what I actually said was, I thought this was a magistrate court. And then I said, we'll see you in federal. And the clerk had me go back in there, and he said, what did you say? And I said I thought this was a magistrate court. And he's like, what do you mean by that?
Let me stop you there. That was a mistake.
I know.
No, not what you said. Going back in there.
Really?
No.
I ain't going back in there.
Well,
you don't care what the judge said. He doesn't have any jurisdiction over you.
I think it was worth it because all he succeeded in doing was getting himself more rattled. Because when I went back in there and he said, what do you mean by that? I said, well, if this was a magistrate court, then you would have to follow the rules of criminal procedure for magistrate courts according to the state of New Mexico, and you're not doing that. And he changed the subject. He said, no, that's not what I meant. What was your parting shot? And I said, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't understand what you mean. What was the last thing you said when you walked out? I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't recall. I recall saying I thought this was a magistrate court. You said you'd see me somewhere. I'll see you. Oh, that. Yeah, I said federal, Your Honor, federal court. Is that a threat? No, sir, Your Honor, not at all. What did you mean by that? Last time I checked, traffic citations weren't issues decided in federal court. No, sir, Your Honor, but deprivation of rights suits are. And then we walked out. And he was so mad.
Good. Follow up. 42 U.S. Code 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hang on. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. Our call-in number, 512-646-1984. We'll be right back.
Are you the plaintiff or defendant in a lawsuit? Win your case without an attorney with Jurisdictionary, the affordable, easy-to-understand 4-CD course that will show you how in 24 hours, step by step. If you have a lawyer, know what your lawyer should be doing. If you don't have a lawyer, know what you should do for yourself. Thousands have won with our step-by-step course, and now you can too. Jurisdictionary was created by a licensed attorney with 22 years of case-winning experience. Even if you're not in a lawsuit, you can learn what everyone should understand about the principles and practices that control our American courts. You'll receive our audio classroom, video seminar, tutorials, forms for civil cases, pro se tactics, and much more. Please visit ruleoflawradio.com and click on the banner or call toll-free 866-LAW-EASY.
Mr. President, members of Congress, you've been making a lot of noise about taking our guns away. But you might want to review history. 1835, Gonzales, Texas Territory. The authorities wanted to confiscate the big gun that protected that colony. You know what the people said? Come and take it. Because they were willing to fight for their freedom and their guns. So are we.
Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but I warn you, you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it.
One shot at a time. Just like Gonzales, we're keeping our guns.
Okay, Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. We're back. We're talking to Rob in New Mexico. Okay, Rob, where were we?
Well, I got done telling you about what I said to the magistrate on the way out, but I guess I want to know where, aside from what we're doing to them, where do we go from here on case? As far as this hopes of a jury trial and all that stuff.
First thing I'd do, motion to disqualify, criminal charges against the judge, tort letter to the judge, tort letter to the county commissioner.
Okay.
We run the routine on the judge with district attorney. When the district attorney refuses to prosecute, then attorney general. I like district judges better because district judges are local. So do the district judge next, and when the district judge refuses to act, then file against him with the attorney general. And when the attorney general refuses to act, file against him with the Chief Justice of the Supreme. And when he refuses to act, come back to the district attorney with criminal charges against the Chief Justice and ask the district attorney to disqualify himself and appoint an attorney pro tem to hear the charges against him and everybody else, and everybody will be excited.
Sounds like fun. Now, magistrate courts in New Mexico specifically allow non-attorneys to act as representation. We made it very clear on Tuesday that I was just there to assist her. I was not there to represent. But since they're demanding a notice of appearance, should I go ahead and file a notice of appearance to assist her?
Yeah.
Cool.
As long as if the code doesn't restrict a non-attorney, then absolutely.
Yeah, no, the code specifically allows for magistrate courts, non-attorneys. That's the only court it allows, but magistrate courts say that you don't have to be an attorney to practice there, which I guess is how they get away with allowing the cop to act.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that he remained absolutely silent through the entire proceeding, and the judge made all of his decisions sua sponte without any influence from the prosecution.
Did the prosecution answer the challenge to subject matter jurisdiction?
No, sir.
Then they stipulated. Actually, no, this is subject matter jurisdiction. No, they didn't, because we didn't have anything to do with the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, you can. They didn't raise an objection to it. So the prosecution stipulated everything that you filed. That's an issue you can bring later. These guys don't care anything about any law. The only thing that's going to get their attention is when you want to appeal this whole issue to a grand jury of your peers rather than to a corrupt appellate court.
Yeah.
That's what's going to get everybody's attention. On the off chance you get there, the grand jury could clean their plows, and you might run the routine on the U.S. attorney. Good place to sue them may be in the federal court, because federal court may actually rule in your favor that the judge didn't have subject matter jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
That would get them real excited. And then if the judge uses a prosecutor to write his pleadings, then you sue against the, refile and include the prosecutor for misappropriation of public funds. Just keep turning the crank up on them.
So can we go ahead and file before this is all resolved in the federal court for the due process violations that have already occurred, or do we have to wait until...
No, absolutely. You can go right now.
Okay, cool.
That'll get their attention.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have anything else for us?
Well, I got a quick question for you about Discovery with Bank of America.
Okay.
They did finally respond to the discovery. They gave boilerplate objections to everything, stating attorney-client privilege and not likely to lead to any admissible evidence. So I filed a motion to compel. I filed a motion to disqualify their attorney. I filed a motion to strike all of the pleadings of Bank of America N.A. because they're not the ones that I sued, and they haven't filed their corporate disclosure statement. But what they did give me was the only claim they made to having any claim to my property was the assignment dated July 28th of 2009, and they started trying to collect in January of 2009. So how can I beat them up over that?
Well, then they're claiming they got an assignment in July?
Mm-hmm. That's when the attorney for the foreclosure mill created the
FDCPA.
Yeah, that's what I've got them on.
1692E.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you beat them up on that. Jerk. That's pretty clear that they had no authority to collect.
Right.
Okay. Have you looked close at the assignment? Did you send a letter to the signatory to the company? Okay. Who did the assignment? Was it MERS? Was it a mortgage company?
It was it was a MERS assignment created by one of the attorneys at the foreclosure.
Okay. Send a letter to MERS and request evidence of power of attorney for this attorney to sign for MERS.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get a response.
Nope.
So you go to the court and say, this guy's a robo-signer. And we had reason to believe he's a robo-signer, so we sent a letter to MERS and requested evidence of power of attorney. MERS did not respond, and that creates the adverse inference that he does not have power of attorney. Do the same. Did you send letters to the notaries?
That one I did not do. We covered that. I need to get your document and have you do it because the notary works for the law firm I sued.
Okay, I have a blank on the web. Are you sitting in front of a computer right now?
Unfortunately, I'm not, but I do have a piece of note paper.
Okay, the reason I said go to aidocs.com, aidocs.com, and On there, you'll see a mortgage analysis tab. Click that. That will bring up a page, and in the top left-hand corner of that page is sitemap. Click the sitemap button, and that will bring up a mind map. A map, it's a big map. It shows all of the files and folders in this section. You can just move it around with your mouse. If you scroll your mouse, it'll expand it. Look up on the top right-hand side, you'll see a node for robo-signers. Click that one. Open it up. You'll see notary letter, Secretary of State letter, power of attorney letter. Actually, next to robo-signers, there's an arrow. Click the arrow, and it'll take you to a server. Oh, server not found. I'm sorry. I've got two computers here, and I took one of them offline. I'm using the second one. It'll take you to a page. I want to make sure it has the link I need on it. Yes, it'll take you to a RoboSigners page. And on that RoboSigners page, I have, in the second paragraph, it says, as soon as you collect the documents from the county recorder, you should file a request for evidence of the notary. You can fill in the blank document here. This is a blank document that you put the name in the top. But if you go down to the bottom of that paragraph, there's another link, and that will link you to a fill in the blanks document with my name and address on the top. And it'll send it back to me. So just let me know if you send it. And then you'll know the time, in 2 weeks, if there are 3 weeks, if there's been no response, and, ask me for a response if I don't have one, then I'll write the affidavit. Because you have proof that it was sent, and I can use that proof. I'll write an affidavit that I requested it and didn't get it. Now we have the adverse inference over the notaries. You can do the same thing with the signatory if you want to. Mm-hmm. I've got a blank and a blank with my name on it. And the third paragraph down is a letter to the Secretary of State. It's a fill in the blank requesting the signature page of the notary and a mailing address for the notary. Good chance the Secretary of State might tell you, we don't know who this person is. I've got that several times so far. You still there, Rob?
Yeah, I'm having too much fun,
okay.
Andy.
Okay. If you'll send me an email, I will send you the link to it.
Okay.
So you can link right to it.
Good deal.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. You are absolutely having way too much fun with all of this. Okay, this is Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. We're going into our last hour. We have Renee and Mark and Tyler. I see you on there. We'll get to you when we come back on the other side. So if you have a question or comment, give us a call. Call-in number 512-646-1984. We'll be right back.
Would you like to make more definite progress in your walk with God? Bibles for America is offering a free study Bible and a set of free Christian books that can really help. The New Testament Recovery Version is one of the most comprehensive study Bibles available today. It's an accurate translation, and it contains thousands of footnotes that will help you to know God and to know the meaning of life. The free books are a 3-volume set called Basic Elements of the Christian Life. Chapter by chapter, Basic Elements of the Christian Life clearly presents God's plan of salvation, growing in Christ, and how to build up the church. To order your free New Testament recovery version and Basic Elements of the Christian Life, call Bibles for America toll-free at 888-551-0102. That's 888-551-0102. Or visit us online at bfa.org.
You're listening to the Logos Radio Network at logosradionetwork.com.
Hey, wipe that grin off your face. States across the U.S. are officially forbidding people from smiling when they get their driver's license photos taken. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back to tell you why the long faces at the DMV. Next.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
If you're applying for a driver's license in a growing number of U.S. states, don't even think about smiling. A big grin in your photo is now considered illegal. That's because smiling defeats the software they use to map and measure people's features for facial recognition. Officials say they're preventing identity theft by comparing new license photos with existing ones. But of course, once they've got your scowling mug in their database, they can use it to track you. All police need to ID you in a public place is to snap your picture on the street and compare it against what's on file. How long does that take? The answer, 1 second. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine. Are you worried your shyness might hold you back in the business world? I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht, back to reassure you that introverts can indeed climb to the top of the ladder while still avoiding the limelight right after this.
Privacy is under attack. When you give up data about yourself, you'll never get it back again. And once your privacy is gone, you'll find your freedoms will start to vanish too. So protect your rights, say no to surveillance, and keep your information to yourself. Privacy, it's worth hanging on to. This message is brought to you by StartPage.com, the private search engine alternative to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Start over with StartPage.
Given the media prominence of guys like Larry Ellison and Richard Branson, it's easy to assume that all successful people are charismatic extroverts. But recent research has found that's not the case. In fact, introverts do better than extroverts by a ratio of 4-to-1 and more often leave positive legacies. That's because introverts focus on one goal at a time rather than scattering their energies. They value teamwork more than ego. They're not threatened by high-performing colleagues, and precisely because they're not in the limelight, they find it easier to admit their mistakes and change course when needed. So I guess the old saying is true. Still waters really do run deep. I'm Dr. Catherine Albrecht for StartPage.com, the world's most private search engine.
Yeah, story for everyone to hear about how we're not gonna give in to the fear. Yeah, it's a story. I will live by my father's house till he returns. I will live by my father's house. He has left me with the strength and wisdom. I will aim my concern. I will live by my father's house. Yeah, I will live by my father's house. I will till I see.
Okay, we are back. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. Eddie and Deborah are off tonight, and I did want to remind everybody about our fundraiser, the AR-15, and the I don't do guns anymore. I used to be a weapons specialist in the military, but got too much of guns, so I don't do them. But there's I forget what the bottom piece is called that you can build another weapon from. So we have 2 pieces for the raffle. It's not a raffle. The giveaway, and we have a number of other things. And I have soap I need to send to people. I ran out of soap and lost my supplier. I couldn't get him to sell me soap anymore because it's been too long. I finally found another supplier. If he's open tomorrow, I'll pick it up tomorrow. And I'm going to be doing a bit of an experiment with this next one. So everybody that's going to get soap, it's going to be experimental soap. I don't think it'll blow up. Yeah, actually, I'm sure it won't blow up. But I'm doing a bit of an experiment to make it a whole lot stronger. I have a piece that I've been using for 2 months. It started out about 2 inches in diameter. I made a ball out of it. It's 1.5 inches in diameter now. This thing could last for 6 months, one of them. And with the new approach that I'm taking, I didn't send the other out because didn't have enough for one thing, and I had used a fixer in it that made little hard lumps in it. So I was reluctant to send that one out, but either tomorrow or Monday I'll have the new batch. And I think we have Renee on. He's going to talk about soap. Matter of fact, Renee, are you there? Let me try that again. There we go. But Renee, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me, Randy?
Yes, I can hear you. Renee went to a supplier in Houston and picked up some product, and he's made up some of this soap. So have you used it yet, Renee?
Yes, I have. Are you sure it's not going to blow up? Because the MSTS sheet says it might.
Oh, no, I don't pay attention to that. You know how they are. You're talking about the DDBSA?
Yeah, the DDBSA.
That's for those chemists out there, that's dodecyl-benzyl sulfonic acid. And the reason the DDBSA has the warning on it is it has 2% sulfuric by volume. 2% sulfuric is, your battery acid is 33-degree bomb A. And that's about 20% by volume. And this is 2% by volume. But I don't know why they have that on there, because there's no way you can get DDBSA to blow up. Now, if you take DDBSA, a cup of DDBSA and a cup of any major alkali, neutralize it in the alkali, and put it in a fountain, one of these big, huge fountains, everything in there will turn to suds. We were going to do that at Buckingham Fountain in downtown Chicago, but decided they'd put us under the jail. But no, okay, but no, it won't blow up.
No.
But have you used it? How did it work for you?
Yes, I did, and actually, put some aroma on it and whatnot. But it works well. I think it works well. That's why I decided to use it and started making it myself. So it's a great product, and it's good. Good deal.
If you take about a cup of the mix and put it in a gallon of water, let's see, a cup, probably 2 cups in a gallon of water, it'll make a real good liquid soap. And the way I make liquid soap with it is I supersaturate the solution. I keep adding powder. I'll generally put about 1/4 to 5 gallons, and it'll make a viscous, slightly amber liquid. It gives a thickness like your regular dishwater, dish detergent, and hand soaps have a viscous, thick consistency. It gives it that consistency, and it makes a really good soap. If you have stains on carpets, it'll clean just about everything, and hurts nothing. You can get it in your eye; it won't sting you. It kind of irritates your eye because it'll dissolve all the oils off your eye and kind of dry it out, like jumping in a swimming pool with too much chlorine. But your eyes blink a couple times, it goes away. It won't attack the oil in the living tissue. Any soap that burns your eyes, it's attacking the oil in the living tissue and dissolving the oil, killing the tissue. Every time you bathe with it, you don't feel it on your skin because you don't have the nerve endings there, but it kills the layer of skin every time you take a bath with it. I don't want that stuff touching me. Everybody that I talk to, they look at my skin. I had 2 women lately ask me, "You're 63?" And I said, "Yes, I am." "Why don't you have any wrinkles?" That's because I don't kill a layer of skin every day. But anyway, well, I'm hoping to have that out Monday or Tuesday and start sending that out. And we have the other items on the giveaway and the if you go to the website, there's several things on there for the fundraiser. And we're getting closer. We're closing in on enough to actually really upgrade this system. So enough of that. Thank you all for everything you've given us. And everybody I owe soap to, I will get it to you here shortly. I've been struggling with this new project, so it takes me about a day to have to go down and find the soap, and I hadn't had the day to set aside. Excuse me. But I will have, by Monday, I'm going to have it. I'm going to try to pick it up tomorrow. Okay. Renee, did you have something else you wanted to address with us?
As I was reading the MSDS for the DDBSA, I started having a panic attack just by reading the fact that, you know, how it says that it's dangerous or whatever. And I was actually trying to see if I could speak to your guest earlier. I've been holding for over an hour, I think, or something like that, almost an hour. And but I guess he's gone. So I did have another question about a tax form that I just received yesterday in the mail from Bank of America. It's an acquisition or abandonment of secure property. I don't know if you ever heard. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it, but I was wanting to see what I need to do with it. I took this form to my accountant, and I've explained to her my situation, what I've been going through, and about the house. And she says not to file it, to talk to my attorney or to someone about it first before I do anything. Because
okay, this is something I haven't come across before. Send me a copy of it. Let me look at it, and I will give you my best opinion.
Okay, well, it says that the form is a 1099-A.
Oh, it's a 1099-A. Oh, okay. That's a standard form. It's been so long since I've talked about a 1099-A. I'll have to go back and look at my research again. Actually, we need who do we'll get a call on that maybe tonight. I'm trying to remember who it was that did. We had someone do some research on the 1099-A, and I have research somewhere, but by send me an email on that, and I'll dig out my research. But we've had a number of people. That's just something they do for, I forget what that was. But it's for their taxes. It's not for yours.
Okay, because she didn't want me to. She suggested me not to file it, or not to claim it, because it, since we're going through litigation still, this is like acknowledging that I did abandon property.
Okay. Okay, let me see it. I can't address it because I really don't know what it says. But when I get it, I'll pull out my research on the 1099-A, and I'm kind of glad you reminded me that. I'll add it to my matrix. I'm getting the matrix put together, and I'll probably be talking about this matrix more as we go along. I'm hoping to get some input, especially on 3D modeling. If anybody has any experience on 3D modeling and web design, I would sure like to talk to them about some technology I'm trying to create. Okay. Do you have anything else for us, Renee?
No, that's it. I'll email it to you. Thank you.
Wait. Okay. Thank you very much. We're going to go to Mark in Wisconsin. Hello, Mr. Mark. How are things going for you?
It's cold. It's below zero here in Wisconsin.
Oh, glad I'm in Texas. It never gets cold in Texas.
Yeah. I mean, it's cold.
You may hear about cold weather in Texas, but that's just a bunch of Yankee propaganda.
Yeah, cold weather in...
It wasn't 20 degrees last week before last. Yankee propaganda.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So it's below zero there. Oh, we heard you were having a cold snap up there.
Yeah.
Pastor Massad wants me to come up to the Adirondacks in upstate New York. Last time he wanted me to do that, it was 21 below. I don't think so.
Oh, I wouldn't do it. You'd be a popsicle if you're from Texas.
Okay, what do you have for us tonight, Mark?
Hey, I was going to ask you if there's any way to avoid personal jurisdiction for a traffic ticket, or if you can make them prove it on the record from the outset.
Well, in personam jurisdiction goes to the right to travel issue. You can't say that the court does not have subject matter jurisdiction. They do. They have subject matter jurisdiction over violations of the traffic code. But they don't have in personam jurisdiction over you because you weren't in commerce at the time. Therefore, their jurisdiction never extended to you.
Okay. What about for what do you call it? A municipal code.
That one's interesting. And do you listen to Eddie's show on Monday?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, he talks about that. Have you asked him about that? Because he's making the argument, and it appears to have merit, that you're not in a contract with the corporation, so those are not really laws, they're corporate rules. And if you're not in contract with the corporation, they don't apply to you. Okay, hang on. This is Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule Law Radio. We'll be right back.
At Capital Coin and Bullion, our mission is to be your preferred shopping destination by delivering excellent customer service and outstanding value at an affordable price. Capital Coin features a great selection of high-quality coins and precious metals. In addition to providing the best prices in the nation, we want to bring you the best shopping experience both in-store and online. In addition to coins and bullion, we carry popular longevity products such as Beyond Tangy Tangerine and Pollen Burst. We offer freeze-dried storable foods by Augustin Farms, Berkey Water Products, ammunition at 10% above wholesale, and more. You can lock in a spot price with our silver pool, and we set up metals IRA accounts. Call us at 512-646-6440 for more details. We're located at 7304 Burnett Road, Suite A, about a half mile south of Anderson. We're open Monday through Friday 10 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 2. Visit us at capitalcoinandbullion.com or call 512-646-6440.
Hey, tangy tangerine, see what you've done to me. I'm losing weight and I'm not half the man I used to be. Hey, tangy tangerine, you make me feel so good. I don't eat so much food. Ain't I a sight compared to what I used to be? Calcium, magnesium, selenium, and zinc. Take a moment now and think. If you have a little drink, every day will bring the life that you've been looking for.
Beyond Tangy Tangerine is available at Brave New Books, located at 1904 Guadalupe Street. The bookstore also carries the works of Dr. Joel Wallach, founder of Longevity and creator of Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
This is the Logos Radio Network.
Oh, come on.
Okay, we are back. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio, and we're talking to Mark in Wisconsin. Mark, have you gotten any trouble lately?
No, they won't even mess with me anymore. The past 2 times I got pulled over, they came back and said, "Thank you, sir. Have a nice day."
Buck, 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 buck. This is what we find happens. I was talking to someone else today that had the same thing. They'll pull them over and they'll come back and say, "Have a nice day." They really don't like someone who will fight them. And when they find somebody who will fight them, they're going to do everything they can to keep them out of their courts so they don't have to risk what the pro se from hell can do to them.
The last time I got pulled over, Randy, I didn't even have a driver's license on me.
And he still didn't write you?
He didn't write me for anything. He said, "Mark, you really shouldn't be going 70 in the rain. Have a nice day."
Well, the last time I got pulled over, it was 67 in a 60. And it was a state police, the Department of Public Safety. And I asked him, "Did you happen to notice that number on the back of my car?" I drive an Avalanche, and on the tailgate, I've got a DOT number. I know Eddie gets all excited about that. But he's claiming that I entered into a contract with the DOT, and I did no such thing. I merely gave notice to the DOT that I am a private operator, not in commerce. That means I don't fall under your DOT regulations. So I asked him if he saw the number, and he said, well, he didn't notice. I said, well, when you go back, you might want to notice that. He went back and came back and gave me a warning. Well, we need to do this, and it's not about getting out of tickets. It's about bringing these guys in line. It's about doing our jobs. You know, I'm a grandpa. I have grandkids. I love them dearly. But if one of them runs out in the road, I'm fixing to tan his hide. We need to think of our public officials this way. We are the sovereigns. They are our servants. It is our duty to train them and keep them within the guidelines we set for them. Now, there is nothing in law that says that you can't have fun in the process. And it is getting to be more fun. We're getting more headway. We're going into a legislative session, and I have put together a white paper. We're asking for legislative change. We're asking for we've talked about, in Texas we have Article 15.17. That is an article, 15.17 paragraph A. That paragraph was specifically written to cause confusion. So we've asked them to take that out and replace it with a reference to Chapter 16. They're going to toss that one. We've got a couple others that we're asking them to do things, and they're not going to do it. So we need to give them something to throw away. And then we're asking them under 14.01b. 1401b says that a police officer may arrest a person for any on-site offense. That is the statute, or that is the addition to a statute that created the police state in Texas. Doesn't appear that way on the surface. But when you go back and read that, now 14.03 says that a police officer can arrest for an on-site offense, arrest without a warrant for a felony or a breach of the peace if it's committed in his sight or in his presence. And it's a little more complex because they can arrest for a felony that they didn't see if the perpetrator is likely to escape. The analogy I use is a guy comes out from behind a building and say, hey, guy back there just shot some dude. And you go around the corner and you see some guy laying down bleeding and you see this other guy walking away. He can arrest him. Even if you didn't see him shoot him, he can arrest him. If the guy comes out and says, hey, this one guy just punched this other guy in the mouth. The cop goes around there and he sees this guy sitting on the curb with his mouth bleeding and another guy walking away with his knuckle bleeding. He can't arrest. It's a misdemeanor. He didn't see it. 1401B said that an officer could arrest for an on-site offense, for any on-site offense. So we're asking the legislature to change any offense committed in his presence. Change any to any offense referenced by 1403. The way it's written, it negates 1403. 1403 says felony or breach of the peace. This one says anything, so it bypasses 1403. So we ask them to correct it by adding 2 words or 3 words as referenced by 1403. And we ask them to require that the grand jury sit at least one time a month or open their doors prior to each meeting of the grand jury to hear complaints by private citizens. That does not affect the authority of the grand jury. It will not affect their budget because 90% of the time nobody show up. They're meeting to hear complaints anyway. So it doesn't interfere with their budget. It doesn't interfere with their duties. Real easy to pass. You got 150 state reps. You got, I think, 30 senators. All of them feel like they have to pass law. They need something to do. So let's give them an easy law to pass. We get the second one. Everything changes. So, Mark, what do you have in Wisconsin that's stealthy, that you can sneak up behind them to force the doors open to the grand jury?
Oh, geez, I don't know. That would be a game changer right there. That would shut down their whole money machine as far as municipal code and statutory code for these minor offenses.
You and I recognize that, but they're not going to. We live in this world where we go after this issue, but those politicians don't. They'll read the code and they say, well, the code says that the grand jury shall investigate into all criminal accusations come to their knowledge by way of the prosecuting attorney or any credible person. So it says people can do that. So no big deal. Most other states, Colorado says, the grand jury shall investigate into all criminal accusations that come to their knowledge by whatever means. That's my favorite incantation of the code. I don't know what it says in Wisconsin, but that should not be a hard thing to get a representative to propose. And you want to propose in both the Senate and the House the same legislation. Because if you do that, then as it changes, if the Senate makes a change, then they'll go to the House and get the House to make the same change so that the bill can move through both of them at once. And that's the only way it's going to have a chance of passing. If you put it through one, then try to put it through another, it'll never pass. But if you make it really simple for them, doesn't cost any money to do it, doesn't appear to really have any effect on anything, then the legislator, he needs something to do, and if he can get a law passed, it makes him look like a good guy. So you might look at your code, see what you can find in that regard. Do you have anything else for us, Mark?
Yeah, I had another quick question.
Okay. We're about to go to break. Hang on. I will take you on the other side. We've got Tyler. I see you there. We will pick you up when we come back. This is Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. Our call-in number, 512-646-1984. But we're probably out of time for any more calls. We'll be right back.
A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995, will change forever the way you look at the true nature of terrorism.
Based on the damage pattern to the building, what the government says is impossible.
The grand jury did not want to hear anything I had to say.
The decision was made not to pursue any more of those individuals.
Some of these columns were ripped up, shredded, tossed around.
The people that did the things they did knew doggone well what they were doing.
Expose the cover-up now at anobleye.com.
The Rule of Law Radio Network is proud to present a due process of law seminar hosted by our own Eddie Craig. Eddie is a former Nacogdoches Sheriff's deputy, and for the past 21 years he's been studying the due process of law and now offers his knowledge to you at a seminar every Sunday from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Brave New Books, located at 1904 Guadalupe Street. Admission is $20, so please make plans to come by and sit with Eddie and learn for yourself what the true intent of law really is.
At hempusa.org, we offer chemical-free products to people around the world, detoxifying, self-healing, while rebuilding the immune system. We urge our listeners to please consider our largest-selling product, Micro Plant Powder. Our Micro Plant Powder is rich in iodine, probiotics, zinc, and silica to help rebuild the immune system and to create a healthy stomach flora. Micro Plant Powder is excellent for daily intake and is perfect to add to your storage shelter. We urge our listeners to please visit us at hempusa.org. And remember, all of our products are chemical-free and healthy to eat. We constantly strive to give you the best service, highest quality, and rapid shipping anywhere. And we offer free shipping on orders over $95 in the U.S. Please visit us at hempusa.org or call 908-691-2608. That's 908-691-2608. See what our powder, seeds, and oil can do for you at hempusa.org.
I see too. I see tools of ingenuity, the use against the workers of iniquity. Tools of massive capability, available for all eternity. They come from natural.
Okay, we are back. Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio, and we're talking to Mark in Wisconsin. Okay, you had another question, Mark.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm really trying to figure out this personal jurisdiction, because they say the way they get it is that you show up and plead or you put up a defense. So I'm wondering how that all these policemen are signing citations with no accusation whatsoever. I mean, they have no skin in the game whatsoever, Randy, and they're turning these tickets into the court. And then when you walk in and plead, then they suddenly have personal jurisdiction, and there's really nothing before the court.
Yeah, okay, they have personal jurisdiction because you did not come in at arm's length to the court. You must come in with a pleading, not a motion. Generally, there are 3 pleadings: challenge to the jurisdiction, double jeopardy. Now, there's one more, and I keep forgetting what it is. But you come in with challenge to jurisdiction, challenge to in personam jurisdiction. You don't waive it. If you come in and make a plea, then you appeared and you waived in personam jurisdiction.
So if you physically go in there, you're waiving personal jurisdiction?
No. If you no. If you file a plea in the court, without first raising an objection to jurisdiction. You put a motion before the court to dismiss for lack of in personam jurisdiction. That's a plea. I'm sorry, I said motion. That's a plea. That's not a motion. It's a plea to the jurisdiction. Once you file the plea to the jurisdiction, if the court denies it, then you go ahead and enter a plea because you don't want them arresting you. But you haven't waived anything. If you don't bring up in personam jurisdiction, then you waive it. And that's what they're saying is how they get it. They only get it if you don't object. Showing up doesn't do it. Entering a plea does. Entering a motion, doing anything that asks the court to exercise jurisdiction waives in personam. So always you come with a plea.
Plea. Okay, and you mentioned the other night that you had a 30-page subject matter jurisdiction challenge. What in the world? I'm wondering what you've got in there, Randy. 30 pages.
Well, that's kind of the due process issue and the way it goes to subject, the writ habeas corpus. It goes to subject matter jurisdiction by disqualification. It makes them trespassers ab initio. Once they violate a due process right, they lose subject matter jurisdiction.
Okay. All right.
So anything that goes to due process goes to subject matter.
Okay. Hey, did you happen to have any,
we really need to start suing judges. Just for yucks.
That gets expensive, though.
On their part.
Yeah.
Not yours.
Hey,
we are filing, we just got the notices of what lawyers are charging the banks. They are charging them like $50,000 and $70,000 to write a pleading. It is Leslie in Pennsylvania told me that, and I said, that is not possible. And then she got some invoices where they had invoiced the bank something like $70,000 for a Rule 12 motion.
Oh man, 12.
We are killing them.
Hey, Randy, do you have any subject matter jurisdiction challenge motions that I could look at?
Send me a email asking for it, and I'll dig it out and drop it in and send it to you. You can find some on jurisprudence.
Okay.
But
what's the email for you right now?
Randy at ruleoflawradio.com.
Rule of Law?
Yep.
All right, that's all I've got, Randy. Keep up the good fight.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to go to Tyler in Wyoming.
Randy.
Hello, Tyler. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, unfortunately, I got a couple things going on. I was fighting a traffic ticket here locally, and from the start, had 4 different hearings, and challenged the subject matter jurisdiction, appeared with a special appearance. Then at the 4th hearing, I'd filed an affidavit. Basically what the affidavit said was a special appearance affidavit, not proclaiming any kind of jurisdiction over me. In other words, I submitted it just especially without having any jurisdiction over my person and so forth, as you were just talking about. What he did with that, he looked at it, and he noticed a couple of mistakes I had on it, like it needed to say municipal court, and I think I put county court, and that was just my screw-up. But he handed it back, and I know why he did that now. It wasn't so I could correct it so it wasn't in his presence. Because at that point, because that was a whole challenge to the jurisdiction, and it had in there the right to travel. I had cases, had case law, and it's just something he didn't want to deal with. I talked about.
Okay, what do you mean by he handed it back?
He had given it back to me from the bench, and then
did you file it with the clerk?
I did, and it had a stamp on it. It was stamped.
Is it not in the court record now?
Well, what I did was I said, I will correct this, Your Honor, and I will get it back, but I want it on record that I filed it today. And he said, well, it's got a stamp on it. So I was like, okay, well, that'll suffice. But then he asked me, he asked me something to do something that I had no obligation to do at that point. He said, I want you to put a bond down of this amount. It was the same amount as the ticket, and I think maybe $10 for court costs. And I said, Your Honor, I said, first of all, that's what the affidavit's all about. I said, this is a jurisdictional challenge, and nothing's gone through due process. I'm not putting a bond down. See, a bond is a promise to appear. I didn't tell him that, but that's what that is. If I'm challenging the jurisdiction, I'm not going to promise to appear. So he said, well, I'm telling you to put the bond down. And I had went out to the window, and the lady said, I need $85. So the clerk, and I said, no. I said, my affidavit needs answered. I was just correct. I was polite. And she told me, she goes, well, there's going to be a warrant for you if you don't give this bond. I said, I don't have to give that bond. And first of all, Randy, tell me if I'm wrong on this. I want your listeners to know this. The Fifth Amendment says that you cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law. Now, the Supreme Court has said in multiple court cases that your money is your property. So if that is true, and we're living under the Constitution, which the courts don't like to acknowledge, but still the supreme law of the land, I don't have to be deprived of that bond until I've been duly convicted, because it would be denial of my property, which is my money.
Did the judge revoke your personal recognizance bond?
Say that again?
Did the judge revoke your personal recognizance bond?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
When you were issued the ticket, in lieu of being taken immediately to jail, you were required to sign the ticket. That was a bond.
I wasn't taken to jail on this one. He just had wrote me a ticket, and he didn't ask for a signature. I don't know if he forgot or if they changed the policy or whatever. But I never actually signed the ticket.
Okay, you're in Wyoming, so there may be some difference in statute that I don't know about. But every other state requires that you sign the citation as a promise to appear.
Absolutely. I'd asked an officer about that who's a friend of mine, and he said, well, they changed it recently. You don't have to now. You don't have to make you sign it, because I guess they were taking people to jail for, I don't know if it's not signing, but for what they considered minor stuff.
Okay, so I'm not sure what the legal implications of that are. Not knowing how they changed it, because now you've never promised to appear in the courts. No reason for you to show up.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, technically, I didn't even have to show up. I maybe just could have sent the affidavit. But my main question is, here's the dilemma I'm in. I don't mind standing up for my rights. So if I have to go to jail to stand up for my rights, so be it. However, that does interrupt the peace of my life, and I consider it a violation. I don't want to motion the court to get that drop, because, like you said, if you drop...
Oh, no, you can motion to drop. Once you have made your challenge to subject matter jurisdiction, the challenge is made, and once you've made to in personam, once you've made the objection, you can't grant. You can go ahead and adjudicate your case without granting them jurisdiction. I am sorry, we are out of time. And I'm sorry for making you wait so long. Next time you call in, I'll bump you to the top. This is Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Rule of Law Radio. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week. Good night.
It is so enlightening to listen to 90.1 FM, but finding things on the internet isn't so easy, and neither is finding like-minded people to share it with.
Oh, well, I guess you haven't heard of Brave New Books then.
Brave New Books?
Yes, Brave New Books has all the books and DVDs you're looking for by authors like Alex Jones, Ron Paul, and G. Edward Griffin. They even stock Interfood, Berkey products, and Calvin soaps.
There's no way a place like that exists.
Go check it out for yourself. It's downtown at 1904 Guadalupe Street, just south of UT.
By UT, there's never anywhere to park down there.
Actually, they now offer a free hour of parking for paying customers at the 500 MLK parking facility, just behind the bookstore.
It does exist, but when are they open?
Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 1 to 6 p.m. on Sundays. So give them a call at 512-480-2503 or check out their events page at bravenewbookstore.com.
Are you the plaintiff or defendant in a lawsuit? Win your case without an attorney with Jurisdictionary, the affordable, easy-to-understand 4-CD course that will show you how in 24 hours, step by step. If you have a lawyer, know what your lawyer should be doing. If you don't have a lawyer, know what you should do for yourself. Thousands have won with our step-by-step course, and now you can too. Jurisdictionary was created by a licensed attorney with 22 years of case-winning experience. Even if you're not in a lawsuit, you can learn what everyone should understand about the principles and practices that control our American courts. You'll receive our audio classroom, video seminar, tutorials, forms for civil cases, pro se tactics, and much more. Please visit ruleoflawradio.com and click on the banner or call toll-free 866-LAW-EASY.
Okay, Randy Kelton coming back, red-faced, made a boo-boo. Tyler, if you're still listening, will you call back in? I was just brain dead. I wondered why that break come up quite so quickly, and it's because we had another segment. Anyway, not my better day, I guess. I am sorry about that. But for those still listening that I didn't chase off, I was hoping to get someone call in about this new technology we're working on. If anybody's out there still listening and you get the chance, get on the computer and go to aidocs.com. That's my, not even my beta site, that's my alpha site. And click on mortgage analysis, and then click on the sitemap. We've been working on, if you've been listening, I've been working on this for several years now, on a way to make the law available to everybody. And, I've talked about how an engineer does what an engineer does. And an engineer, if he does his job right, he gets himself out of the way and allows the project to design itself. And that's what we've been trying to do here. And it has done exactly that. It seems like every major breakthrough we've made came somewhat serendipitously. We were actually trying to do something else, and the project itself led us to the answers. And I've had a long struggle with how do you produce this much information in a way that people can make sense of. And when I was trying, the mortgage analysis is so big that I've got so much information that I didn't know where to start. But with this mind map, it's kind of like a street map of the file structure. Any of you out there working on a computer, if you're like me, you've got folders inside of folders inside of folders. I really don't like Macs, and one of the main problems I had with it is when I opened a file, it didn't give me a path. It didn't tell me exactly where that file lay in the file structure. I needed to pop up with a path saying it's showing me the direct line from the root folder all the way down to where this one's at. So I have in my head where that file is, and I can go back to it. I couldn't find any way to do that in the Mac, and it made me crazy. Well, I can do that in Windows, but I have to remember the path. I have to remember each folder to click in to get to the file I'm looking for. And that is a beast. I'm always having to go to that. That's why Windows Explorer has a search facility. Because the human mind is not designed to organize information this way, in a linear progression. We don't think that way. The human mind is probably by far still the most powerful computer in existence. But there's one thing that it does that nothing else does, or anywhere near as well, is it makes connections. It doesn't make connections in a direct line. It makes lateral connections. It makes vertical connections. It connects in all directions. And we were trying to develop a structure that had a similar type of architecture that was just intuitive, that human beings can look at it and it'll actually make sense to them. And the mind map was the first thing that actually did that. From the mind map, we're trying to move into something far more sophisticated. This is a two-dimensional map. And what we're trying to build is actually a matrix. I have mortgage analysis here, but this is just one small piece of law. Mortgage analysis has a section in here that goes to criminal. Criminal is a whole other section of law. So when something points at that node, the end of that node doesn't go to a lateral 2D space. It jumps out of this space over to another lateral 2D space. And that is what leads us toward the 3D aspect. So we've been trying to develop that. And it's getting really exciting because it appears as though we may be working up a procedure that's not like anything that you've seen before. And for an engineer, this is the most fun part. You know, you've heard me working on this for the last 5 years. You work on something and work on it and work on it, and sometimes it seems like you'll just never get there. And just here lately, the pieces are beginning to fall in place. I don't have them all yet, but do have a positive direction to go in to get them all. Okay, I'm blabbing here, and I have a caller. I'm having a brain dead day. I'm going to go to Tony in Illinois. Hello, Tony. What do you have for us?
I wanted to talk about assignments if we have enough time to. I don't know if you.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes.
I don't know if you have this in your program, but in the case that I was helping a lady out with, the assignment was late, and so after finding the case that.
Okay, wait. What do you mean? What does late mean? Late for what?
After the complaint.
Wait, say that again. You broke up.
After the complaint, the mortgage was assigned to the plaintiff after the complaint.
Okay, that goes to subject matter jurisdiction.
Right. Now, after finding, this is Illinois, so, and the case is Deutsche Bank versus Gilbert, if anybody has that same issue. But one of the, I've reviewed, dozens of files, of mortgage files at the recorder's office and in the vault. One thing I'm unclear on is, can this be raised if the situation is it was assigned to MERS, the original lender forecloses, and then MERS assigns it back to the original lender? Could that still be an issue to raise?
Okay, had it been transferred from the original lender to someone else?
I guess you would have to do a chain of title or something like that.
Okay, is there a assignment from the original lender to someone else in the record?
Well, in the record, as far as I know, it would just be to MERS.
Okay.
Or maybe it was.
Are you talking about the assignment to MERS in the deed of trust? Or is there a separate document assigning the deed of trust to MERS?
Well, either way. This is.
No, we can't go either way. They're not. These are mutually exclusive. Either MERS was assigned the deed of trust, or MERS was given legal title. If it's in the deed of, if it is in the claim is from the deed of trust, then that means MERS was granted legal title. If MERS claims to hold the deed of trust, it has to have been transferred to him.
Okay.
So now MERS did the assignment back. There's probably a better way to go after this. Did MERS sign the mortgage?
Now, understand, this is not a case that I'm involved in. I'm just saying, due to all the cases I've seen, I've seen, half a dozen different ways that these assignments you'll have. It's just the original lender, and it stayed with the original lender. It's the original lender, and it goes to MERS, and then back to the original. Or
if it goes to MERS, there's a problem because MERS can't hold it. MERS can only act as an agent for the lender. Right. If MERS was properly appointed as agent for the original lender. The assignment, if they have an assignment from MERS to the original lender, and there's nothing in the record showing that it was ever assigned to MERS, then neither of those documents mean anything. Then it was always, according to the record, in the possession of the original lender.
What if MERS is in the original mortgage, and then, the original lender, forecloses, and then MERS assigns back?
Okay, there's some confusion here. There's nothing to indicate that the deed of trust was ever assigned to anyone else. If MERS is in the original mortgage, that merely means that MERS claims to be an agent, not the holder. So there's nothing to show that the lender ever transferred the deed of trust to anyone, so he still had it. That transfer back to him was meaningless. Okay, I'm sorry, we are out of time. This is Randy Kelton, Deborah Stevens, Eddie Craig, Groove Law Radio. We will be back Monday with Eddie Craig and Deborah Stevens on the Traffic Show. Deborah and I will be back Thursday, and then I'll be back here next Friday on my lonesome. So listen in. Our archives are up. They're all free. Thank you all for listening, and good night.
Dangerous. Bibles for America is offering absolutely free a unique study Bible called the New Testament Recovery Version. The New Testament Recovery Version has over 9,000 footnotes that explain what the Bible says, verse by verse, helping you to know God and to know the meaning of life. Order your free copy today from Bibles for America. Call us toll-free at 888-551-0102 or visit us online at bfa.org. This translation is highly accurate, and it comes with over 13,000 cross-references, plus charts and maps and an outline for every book of the Bible. This is truly a Bible you can understand. To get your free copy of the New Testament Recovery Version, call us toll-free at 888-551-0102. That's 888-551-0102. Or visit us online at bfa.org.
Looking for some truth? You found it. LogosRadioNetwork.com.